Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
Buddy? What happened? We were recording a review? You punched me?
I did what? I don't remember anything like that.
Whoa. Excuse me sir, ஒரு கதையை வந்து பாருங்க. காரப்பக்காயின் போல தலையும் சுத்தும் பாருங்க.
Yeah, you punched me. And more than once. You know, Jimmy, you really can't... Oh, thanks, Jimmy. I hate to remember things.
Whoa. Excuse me sir, ஒரு கதையை வந்து பாருங்க. காரப்பக்காயின் போல தலையும் சுத்தும் பாருங்க.
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
What happened? Buddy! Just kidding. And I'm Deniz, the Buddymeister.
And today's movie was once again directly picked for us by one of our awesome Masala Meister tier supporters. If you want to choose a movie for us, you can do so by becoming a patron on patreon.com/thejimmycage or a member directly here on YouTube.
Naduvula Konjam Pakkatha Kaanom, also known as NKPK, and that's what we will call it from this point on, is a 2012 Tamil black comedy that was written and directed by Balaji Tharaneetharan. It stars Vijay Sethupathi, Gayathrie, Vigneshwaran, Bagavathi Perumal and Rajkumar.
The plot of NKPK is based on an incident that occurred in the life of cinematographer/director C. Prem Kumar that involves him experiencing retrograde amnesia after a cricket accident 2 days before his wedding.
He played cricket with 3 friends. One of them, Bagavathi Perumal, aka Bugs, plays himself in this movie. And another one, Balaji Tharaneetharan, aka Balaji, is the director of this movie. And C. Prem Kumar himself did the cinematography. We of course have also watched and reviewed his debut as writer and director, which was 96, and we liked that one very much.
I think it's safe to say that the incident that happened to Prem Kumar in real life was amplified and extended for this movie. And people obviously loved this story, because NKPK was remade in 6 other languages between 2013 and 2018.
But none of these movies has the epic runtime of 161 minutes that NKPK has. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with the song Excuse Me Sir, which is one of the highlights of this movie and a perfect way to get started with the story.
Yes, these 3.5 minutes tell us everything we need to know about Prem and his friends. We learn about their characteristics, their connection to each other, a bit about their past, a bit about their present, and also something about their future, meaning the story that we are about to see. It's pretty cool, it feels fresh, and puts you in the right mood.
The perfect hook to catch us and get us interested in what's to come. And of course the term that sticks in your mind from that song and that is used a dozen times in the movie is medulla oblongata, which is the long stem-like structure which makes up the lower part of the brainstem. And that's where Prem hits his head trying to catch the ball playing cricket.
NKPK is a special movie. It has a certain style and tone that I haven't seen this extreme anywhere else before. It's kind of hard to pin down what it is exactly, but I guess it's this fascinating narrative choice and style of being tongue-in-cheek serious with the driest sense of humor possible, and also to stretch it out to an enormous length. Now, it doesn't always work, but it's fascinating. And of course it should also be noted that the movie was realized on a shoestring budget of only 8 million rupees.
I know what you mean. NKPK isn't laugh out loud funny, but there are some moments, for example at the wedding, or at the barbershop, that are really funny, but it's mainly this strange amalgam that makes this whole scenario hilarious in a black comedy kind of way. But like you said, it doesn't always work, and when it doesn't, it really doesn't. And that's mainly due to the fact that, and I'm sorry to say this, Balaji Tharaneetharan doesn't know how and when to end a scene, hence the runtime of 161 minutes.
Well, that might be a bit harsh, but you have a point. What comes across as playful and endearing in that quite lengthy cricket scene at the beginning can become a drag later on. Many scenes are simply going on for too long.
Every scene is really annoying.
I wouldn't say that, but it's definitely teasing, because the actual story isn't going forward much. There's really not much development. I think it was after about an hour or so when we said that everything up to that point could have been told in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, the whole movie could have been told in 90 minutes or 100. But it's not just about the length of the scenes, it's also how a lot of those scenes are shot. We get so many reaction shots of the 4 friends and they always make the same faces. That's really annoying. It's like there's a real concept missing of how to condense the story and how to tell it in a coherent and entertaining way.
I don't know. I liked it a lot more than you did, and I'm also not sure if my enjoyment was maybe amplified by the fact that we watched it together and that you were kind of losing your mind at times because of the super slow pace, which added some extra fun for me personally. But I can't deny it's a slow burner.
The slowest burner.
I mean, these guys grow on you, don't they? there's some heartwarming stuff in there, and don't forget about the social commentary. I thought this whole "how can someone marry someone that he or she doesn't know" was interesting food for thought, even if it's certainly not the focus of the story.
I guess. I'm not saying that this movie hasn't some things going for it, but for me it became a real test. I was annoyed by the repetitive nature of it, that there was no progress. Also how this whole amnesia thing is played like this big mystery with the eerie music that's always the same. But I just didn't feel this urgency that the movie tried to create.
I think this problem that Saras, Bugs and Balaji have with Prem not being ready for his wedding is something that we cannot understand completely. Of course it would also be a terrible thing to happen in our part of the world, but maybe the clearer rules and traditions and also all the customs that are in some way connected to the family of the groom, but especially to that of the bride, make this an even more dire situation for them. Particularly because they blame themselves for this mess.
That's an interesting point that definitely gives NKPK another extra something that makes it stand out. But all of that would have worked or could have been realized without it being so long and repetitive and annoying.
I still wouldn't call it annoying, but I would lie if I said that the 161 minutes flew by like nothing. Actually, at first, I was a little bit annoyed by Vijay Sethupathi's character, but somehow I fell into this madness of them trying to get past all these different social situations, especially towards the end when things come to a head and the guys needed to find solution after solution. In a weird way, it's almost a little bit like Weekend at Bernie's, only that this character isn't dead, only totally lost. And the ending felt very liberating and just nice. And yes, the movie is really long, but I felt like I was on a journey with these guys.
I actually got that feeling too in the end. The feel-good factor took over, but I'm still not able to give this movie a better rating than I do. So please, Jimmy, what would we say in German about Naduvula Konjam Pakkatha Kaanom?
NKPK ist definitiv zu lange und schafft es auch nicht immer, den durchaus amüsanten, trockenen Humor richtig zu timen, aber die faszinierende Erzählweise und die herzerwärmenden Momente mit unseren 4 Jungs machen diesen Film trotzdem zu etwas Besonderem. I give NKPK 7 out of 10. It's more like 6.5, but I don't do that.
For me, it's 5 out of 10. It's more like 5.4, but I don't do that either. Did you know that there are only 2 Hollywood movies that, according to scientists, depict amnesia accurately? We're only talking about Hollywood movies now.
Memento.
Yeah, Memento and...
No idea.
Finding Nemo.
Wow, Finding Nemo? That's interesting. So, what are your thoughts about NKPK? Leave a comment and hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd and also on Patreon simply at TheJimmyCage.
And you can hit me up on Twitter at the Buddymeister.
And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all we have to tell.